How to dress to look more muscular. Welcome to the video. So check this shirt out. I'll stand back so you can see. How does it look? Does it make me look more muscular? Can you see my shoulders? Can you see my arms? Can you see my sort of flat stomach? Can you see that my shoulders are big and broad and my waist is a bit narrower than my shoulders? What do you think? Let's take a look at the shoulder seams right here. Actually, the shoulder seams do line up. Their shirt's not that bad, but it could be better. This t-shirt is one size bigger than I normally wear. The size that I normally wear is a medium, and this is a large. This is actually a medium t-shirt, and you can probably see as I stand behind, it does accentuate my biceps and triceps, the little bit that I actually have. It accentuates my shoulders, and it does hug my midsection a lot more than the gray shirt that I was actually just wearing. You could even see as I move my arms around like that, because I talk with my hands all the time, you could even see that it hits right here, right in the middle of my upper arm, not the forearm. You could see that the shoulder seam is still exactly where it's supposed to be, so no issues right there. It's not too big here, it's also not choking me. So from a distance, you could actually see that this t-shirt does hug my shoulders, right? It does make my shoulders look pretty big. If I stand to the side, you could see it. I'm not a stick figure. You know, I've got some muscle to build, but I'm not a stick figure either. And also, it does hug my midsection, making me look like my shoulders are a bit broad and my waist is a bit narrow. It could be narrower, however, it does do favors for me since this is a much more form-fitting t-shirt, but it is not skin tight. All right, so before we really get into this discussion, I have to mention one thing. If you want to look muscular in clothing, you have to be muscular. You have to go to the gym. No ifs, ands, or buts. You got to go to the gym. If you can't go to the gym, you have to figure out a strength training routine that's going to help you build muscle and also lose fat. You've got to be eating right. You've got to be getting cardio in. You've got to be getting strength training in. You don't have to be big and bulky and like a bodybuilder and have huge muscles and huge shoulders and look like a muscle man, but you do need to be going to the gym, because what you want your clothing to do, you want your clothing to, like this t-shirt does, you want your clothing to make it appear like your shoulders are big and broad, your waist is slim and narrow, and your arms aren't stick figure like. So if you've got a big midsection, not a big deal, but if you got a bigger midsection and your chest and your shoulders are kind of flat, what you're actually going to want to do is you're going to want to start eating right, try to burn some of that midsection, burn some of that fat. So talk to your doctor about a strength training routine, and you want to pick the gym, the cleanest gym you can find that is as close to you as possible. Because in my experience, the closer it is to where you live, the more often you're going to go. I would rather pay $100 a month for a gym that's 10 minutes down the road where I can walk versus $10 a month for a gym that's an hour walk that I have to get in the car. I'm never going to go to that $10 a month gym, whereas the $100 a month gym, I'm going to go 4 or 5 times a week. All right, just wanted to get out of the way. You have to actually be muscular if you want to look muscular in clothing. There are no shortcuts. There is no crazy magic formula. It's going to take some time. It's going to take work. There's no shortcuts here. However, there are certain things you can do in order to pick clothing that fits you well and accentuates your best features. We talked about this t-shirt. This t-shirt does fit properly, right? You want the shoulder seams to hit right here. You don't want them to be hitting all the way down here. You also don't want it to be all the way up there, because then it's going to be too tight. But if you notice the color of my skin and the color of the t-shirt, in my experience, navy blue t-shirts or navy blue color works well for me because it really does contrast my skin color. So this really does make my arms pop, and it also directs attention to my face as well. Now, if you went with a V-neck t-shirt like this would do an even better job of actually building up your shoulders. But let's take it up a notch and see if we can get an even more muscular look. You probably knew this one was coming, but the polo shirt, in my experience and in my opinion, it does a great job of making you look very muscular. Every time I wear a polo shirt, especially a navy blue one or a dark colored one, that contrasts my skin color, for some reason I just feel stronger. I feel like my muscles just get pumped up a bit. I don't have big muscles, but they do get pumped up a bit. And it's a couple of things that the polo shirt does, the t-shirt doesn't do. Now this polo shirt, Collars & Company polo shirts, it actually comes down a bit further than I'd like. It doesn't come up to here. I prefer it to come up to there because then it kind of just makes my arms fill out the sleeve right there. But pay attention to what it does up here. If you leave the polo shirt unbuttoned as much as you can without it going all floppy collar on you, which Collars and Company polo shirts would never do that because they actually have dress collar polos, it actually creates that V taper, and it makes it so that underneath your face it just comes down nice, and that V taper is what we want because that's what's going to make your shoulders appear broad and your waist appear narrow. Even if you're not a muscle man or a bodybuilder like me, I'm just a skinny guy that's got a little bit of extra fat to lose and a little bit of muscle on him as well. So polo shirts do a great job for me, and this is the reason why I'm so happy that I found Collars and Company. They haven't sponsored me, not yet, but I'm really happy, and this is why I was so upset when I could never find a polo that I liked. Now you could also do this with a V-neck t-shirt. You could do it with a Henley shirt or a short sleeve Henley shirt. Henley shirts, just think that polo shirt without the actual collar. But in my opinion, just go with the polo shirt, go with the collar. It's gonna give you a lot more versatility, and you're gonna be able to have less items in your wardrobe, but those items that you do have in your wardrobe, you're going to be able to actually get more use out of. So this polo shirt, it's pretty good. The Collars and Company polos do run a bit long. I don't mind that. I just pull it up so that I can show my belt. They probably made them run long just so you could actually tuck them in if you're actually wearing a sport coat, blazer, or a suit with it. Now normally polo shirts are only good for the warm months, but I'm actually so happy with these polo shirts that I bought from Collars & Co. I am wearing them into the winter months. We're currently on November 2nd right now. So how would you wear this polo shirt but still retain that form-fitting feature so that it accentuates your big broad shoulders and your narrow waist? Choose a sweater that is also form-fitting, like the merino v-neck slim fit wool sweater that I have on right now. So you can see this is pretty form-fitting right here. Now it's not going to be accentuating my arms as much because there's no contrast right here, but further away from the distance you can see it still does snug up my waist, and you can see the outline, especially since this is a contrasting background. You can see if I was walking towards you, you could see that my shoulders appear broader just because this is a lot more form-fitting than if I was wearing something like my LL Bean jacket inside, for example, or a bigger, chunkier cardigan, or just a bigger, chunkier sweater. So speaking of the LL Bean jacket that I love near and dear to my heart, I'll actually show you the difference. So right now, the LL Bean jacket is open. It just makes my shoulders appear round, not really doing too much for my figure. If I start to zip it up a bit, maybe close this, it is pretty form-fitting, and because I zipped it up and left it unzipped, look at the zipper. Even though this is a contrasting zipper, this is actually going to make me appear a little bit more muscular because it's all about making that V taper. Big broad shoulders, narrow waist, that V can do it. So if you wore a t-shirt with like a Firebird on it, right? I used to have a t-shirt like that back when I had a Pontiac Firebird. If you wore a t-shirt with some sort of design that went like that, as opposed to a t-shirt with a big A on it, that t-shirt with the big letter A on it would actually be the reverse of what we want to do. Whereas if you wore a t-shirt with a big V on it, that would create the smoke and mirrors illusion of your chest and shoulders appearing broad and your waist appearing narrow. If I wore this like this is a great example of how I'm showing you that now from a distance, and this is where the contrasting zipper is actually helping. If this was buttoned up here, now it's making me look kind of A-framed. It's making me look like I have a bigger belly, especially since it looks like this is just bowing out, whereas I don't have much of a belly at all. It's pretty non-existent, but this is what wearing the right clothes the right way can actually do for you. Now, speaking of suits and sport coats, these items actually, or suit jackets, these items actually are designed to make your shoulders appear broad and create that V taper. Let's take a look at this one right now. So you can see as soon as I put this one on, because it fits me right at the shoulders and it fits me over here, and because you could see now I've got a nice long V right here. From further away, it makes my shoulders appear broad. It also makes my waist appear narrow. The sport coat and the suit jacket or the blazer are pretty much all very interchangeable, but sport coats and suit jackets actually do this already. So if you're very, very skinny, or you've got a big gut, or you're just starting on your muscle building journey or your strength training journey, wearing sport coats or suit jackets more often can actually do a great job of building up your shoulders and slimming down the waist, even if, let's see, I'll stick out my stomach as much as I can. Stick out my stomach and just kind of stand all frumpy like this. Still looks good. Doesn't look as good if I stood tall with the correct posture, actually put my shoulders in line with my head, and didn't just push my gut all the way out. However, the sport coat and suit jacket look is almost like a cheat code for this. But you probably don't want to wear a sport coat or a suit jacket anyway, so this is just something that you can do to boost your confidence and make it appear like you're a little bit more muscular, more masculine, more in shape. So this is definitely something that you should take advantage of, especially going into the fall and winter months. It's going to be a lot easier to start wearing a sport coat right now than it would be to wear it on a 90-degree day in the summer, for example. All right, so sport coats, sweaters, polo shirts, they're easy, right? But what if you want to wear a flannel shirt? What if you want to wear an Oxford shirt? Well, let's talk about that right now. All right, here is one of my LL Bean flannel shirts, and I just realized putting this on that this is probably one of my loosest fitting button-up shirts. My Oxford cloth button-downs from J. Crew, which is right over here. This shirt is a bit slimmer than this, but my dress shirts and my polo shirts are actually the slimmest. So with this shirt being a little bit more billowy than my other shirts, we're still going to be able to create that standard V taper. I don't know why I keep calling it standard. We're still going to be able to create that broad shoulder, narrow waist look with this shirt. It also helps if you have a checkered pattern, because if you actually do get a natural V taper, those checkered patterns are actually going to start to accentuate it. Maybe not so much right now, it just looks pretty up and down. However, let's take a look right now. So overall, looks okay, right? But what if we actually went ahead with the flannel and unbuttoned that second button, rolled up the sleeves, just simple 1-2 roll, I call it. Now, let's take a look. Looks a little bit better, right? Because we've got a little bit more of a gradual V neckline, we can call it, and it also shows off our forearms as well. Now, if you're gonna wear the sleeves down like this, it's not gonna do much for you. This is gonna get pretty distracting. I like to just roll them up 2 times. If you have the actual length and you have maybe your sleeves are a little bit more big and billowy, you can roll it up a 3rd time, but my shirt's a bit slim in the sleeves, so I actually can't do that. It starts to get uncomfortable, so I just leave them up like this and it's totally fine. So you can still create that V taper that you want from a shirt that is not the best form-fitting shirt ever. I also want to show you how you wouldn't want to wear a flannel, and I do have a V-neck undershirt on right now. If you just had a t-shirt on and you're throwing this flannel over like this is a lot more of a casual look. I do this sometimes if I'm just wearing a t-shirt and I'm walking around the apartment, maybe I'm just working around the house. Then I actually wear this because the flannel does keep me a bit warmer, and just sometimes I throw on a t-shirt if I'm heading to the gym or coming back from the gym. So I do wear the flannel like this, but I know that I'm not utilizing it the best that I can. So this is a very casual look, but I would say that only utilize this look if you're wearing it as some sort of like a house sweater or some sort of outerwear, a very lightweight outerwear. But you've got the sleeves open, flopping around, you've got the flannel open like that. It's always a better idea to button it all the way up. That way it actually does accentuate your broad shoulders and broad chest. Now I even button it up to here just so that you can't see my undershirt at all, because sometimes this shirt does kind of just, I get floppy collar syndrome on this one, and because I don't always want to be putting the slick collar in every single one of my shirts every single time, it's easier for me to just button this up right here, and it just keeps the shirt a little bit more intact in my experience. Of course, I don't always keep the sleeves rolled up on this shirt. I do keep the sleeves rolled down if it's a little bit cooler, but as soon as I can, I do roll the sleeves up. It just makes things look a lot better, and it makes you appear more muscular and also slim and slender and more athletic and in shape. So from a distance, which looks better? Look 1, where I'm looking pretty A-framed and pretty whatever, looks a little bit frumpy, right? And here is look 2, buttoned up, 1 button unbuttoned on top, sleeves rolled up about halfway up my forearm. Looks much better, doesn't it? I thought so. I agree with you. So in conclusion, you want to look more muscular in your clothes. You got to go to the gym, you got to do strength training, you got to eat right to slim down, and you definitely want to talk to your doctor before doing any of this. I'm not a professional. This is for entertainment purposes only. You got to do strength training. The second thing is you need to make sure that your clothes fit. Alpha M said a long time ago, he coined the phrase size down. So if you're usually a size large in a t-shirt, try the size medium. If you're usually a size medium, try the size small. One other thing you can actually do, and I actually do this with my, I don't know where it is, I actually do it with my Banana Republic shirts, is if there's an option for a medium tall, the medium tall is actually going to give me a lot more length, because once those regular medium t-shirts go in the dryer, they do shrink up. So sizing down and actually making sure that the shoulders hit exactly where they're supposed to hit. The shoulders aren't going to just drag down like that. Anyone remember watching old TV shows from the 90s where everyone was wearing shirts like that? So making sure your clothing fits you is actually something you're going to want to do as well. Also going to want to wear a sport coat or a suit jacket more often, especially in the cooler months if you want to transition to wearing them more often, because those items naturally build up your shoulders and slim down your waist, and you could be a pretty big and out of shape guy with high percent body fat and still appear muscular and slimmer than if you weren't wearing that sport coat or suit jacket. When picking sweaters, go with sweaters that fit you in slim fit and that are form fitting, and when wearing a jacket, it's a good idea to zip it up to about halfway, versus if you leave it open, it's going to end up looking kind of A-framed. I'll show you again with the LL Bean jacket. If you leave it open, it can kind of fly away like that, and now it's going to make you look a bit A-framed. It's going to make you look wider in the waist, narrower up top. But if you actually zip it up here, I actually prefer to wear all my jackets like this just because it keeps them from flying all over the place. But it also, now I've got that V taper going on, whereas if I zipper it up, I'm all A-framed, not a good look. So that's going to do it for this one. Reminder, if you enjoy this content, then consider subscribing. It's totally free, and I appreciate it if you do. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. We're at about 1,825 last time I checked. So each 1,825 of you, thank you so much for liking, commenting, subscribing. Really appreciate the feedback you're giving. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Have a great day. Bye.